So I just watched the episode Unreal Tournament in the series Secret Level, and this scene in particular stood out to me as being extra awesome. So I wanted to recreate it, but with a twist, as an advert for the new Rainbow Six Siege X, which has just come out and is now free to play. I'm not sponsored, unfortunately. I just used to absolutely love Rainbow Six Siege. Step 1. Storyboard. Sometimes it's easier to get an idea out of your head and onto paper. That's where a storyboard comes in handy. As you can tell, it doesn't need to always be in great depth, it just depends on the project and who you're working with. Seeing as I'm working by myself, this will do. Step 2. Animation. I've said it before, I'll say it again, Mixamo is amazing. I knew the only animation I really needed was a guy walking and pointing a gun, and sure enough, Mixamo had this. In fact, I actually used this animation for a previous project. The problem with this animation though, is that it's incredibly short, and when we extend the animation, our character keeps flicking backwards. To amend this, we can duplicate the animation by holding Alt and dragging with the mouse. Then we right click on the animation, go to Match with this bone in previous clip, and choose a bone. However, we can see here that the animation doesn't line up. That's because we've chosen the wrong bone. We need the one that stays in the exact same place for us to loop the animation. It seems with this animation, spine 1 is what works. And now we can duplicate the animation again to make an even longer cycle. But the walking is a bit static and I want my character to look around. To edit my animation, I first duplicate the animation sequence, rename it, and open it up. To animate a bone, I select the bone and press the key button. I then move along the timeline, change the rotation of my bone, and hit key again. Now when I play the animation, we can see the character moving, but it isn't very smooth or realistic. To smooth the animation, we can select the bone in the timeline, go to Curve, Edit Curve, and here we can see our keyframes. I'm going to specifically select the rotation pitch, because this is the one value that I actually animated. Now if I right click on one of the frames, I can change the interpolation. Now if I right click on one of the frames, I can change the interpolation to be more smooth. For the most editable results, I found weighted tangents was best. We can see now my animation is a lot smoother and we can add it into our level sequence. But wait, now when I select to match to spine 1, I'm getting flickering again. Yeah, animation in Unreal can be very frustrating. Thankfully, there is a fix called playing with all the settings until you figure something out. Or the way I solved this was by matching the bone to the right foot, because I noticed this is what was sliding backwards between my animations. Step 3. Create an environment. I literally added a floor. I have nothing else to add. Step 4. Smoke and fog. Obviously, I knew I wanted the characters to emerge from the smoke, as you can tell from the storyboard. To accomplish this, I tried a few things. Niagara sprites, didn't work. Niagara smoke sim, crashed my GPU. A fog material, only half worked. Exponential height fog. This got me halfway there. In case you're wondering, to make really thick fog using exponential height fog, first add it into your scene, turn on volumetric fog, otherwise you won't see it, then play around with the following parameters: fog density, fog height fall off, extinction scale, view distance, and scattering distribution. Adjusting these are what I have found makes the best results. Lastly, the other half that worked was this fog material. I have to shout out this video, link in the description, where I learned how to build this material because for me it made the world of a difference. I will briefly go over how this material works, but please go watch the video if you want a more in-depth look or to know how to build the material yourself. In short, this material is playing a fractal noise on a plane. The material's blend mode is set to translucent. The texture sample used is Tiling Noise 5, which can be found inbuilt into your project. This is then animated with a panner, and the speed can be adjusted using a parameter. The base color is a radial gradient, which is what makes the fog fade. And lastly, the most important part of this material is the depth fade. This is what makes the fog look like it has depth. Again, these can be adjusted using parameters which can also be animated in the level sequence when you add your plane, add your static mesh, and find your material switches. A quick bonus before the final step is the camera crane. I used this because I wanted to get smooth, realistic camera movements. To use it, all you have to do is parent your camera to the end of the crane and then you adjust these 3 settings. I was actually impressed how well this worked. Step 5. Compositing. Because the smoke planes are noise and therefore random, the smoke didn't always render the way I wanted it to. To help solve this, I downloaded Premium Beats pack of free smoke effects and used these in Premiere Pro. I put these at the end of the clip and at the beginning of the clip. And that was pretty much everything on this project. If you haven't seen the full video, I will leave a link here. In the meantime, thanks for watching and have a good time telling stories.